difference between listeners and fans?
There is. I think there is a difference between listeners and fans. I mean, you could just listen. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can pass me a song. You listen to it. Oh, listen to it. Blah blah. It's cool. Blah blah. Put it aside. You feel me? Comes back to me. Comes back to me. Fans, they're like, shit. When this nigga shit dropped? Oh, it dropped. Okay, I'm gonna listen to this shit. I'm gonna listen to this shit. You know what I'm saying? Then they go back and they listen to it again. You know what I'm saying? You listen to the whole shit. You feel what the artist is feeling. Because I mean, through an album, you're telling a story. Through a mixtape, EP, you're letting people know what you're about. So I think that's the difference between listeners and fans. Fans is you're anticipating it, or you know what I'm saying, like you're seeing what that nigga's on. You know what I'm saying? You might have him on Twitter, you might not, but you can still be a fan if you don't have him on Twitter. You're just seeing what he's on, seeing what he's doing. So I think that's
what about you, Malik? Any other additions to that?
Yeah, I agree with him. I feel like there is a difference, and I feel like a fan, well, like a listener, anybody, like you said, anybody can really listen to it, but a fan is really gonna what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's really gonna find some patience and really wait for when you're gonna drop. Like, oh, he's dropping it on this date. Like, okay, I'm on it. Like, I mean, there can be listeners where they can just listen to him. He's like, oh, he's cool and stuff, and it's not really on their playlist or nothing. They listen to it. Like, somebody say, oh, are you a fan of so and so? And I'm not a fan. I listened to him before, you know. Okay. But I'm a fan of somebody who's really is a fan. Like, you just gotta have. I feel like if he's on your playlist, you're a fan of him. Like if you're going down your music and you see his name and you click it and download it, you're a fan.
You think so?
I do.
Okay, so that's a good change of discussion then, because do you think that someone can be considered a fan if they don't purchase an album or if they don't like attend a performance of somebody?
I feel like you can still be a fan. Like let me see. Like I'm a hard fan of Tory Lanez. I don't know if he actually like I'm a hard fan of him. Like he drops something, I'll get it like on the mixtape and stuff. But as of right now, like I know he has a song Say It and stuff. I never bought it off of iTunes. Yeah. There's only 2 artists I ever bought albums for, and it was Drake and J. Cole. I bought Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, and If You're Reading This Too Late. J. Cole, I bought Born Center and Forest Hills Drive.
What about you, Dave? Do you think someone can be considered an actual fan if they don't purchase an album?
I think they can. I think they can still be a fan if they don't purchase the album. Like I said, I think it just goes back to how hard you fuck with that artist. I mean, and like Malik says, how often do you like listen to them, or you know what I'm saying? Do you just put it aside or go away? I mean, I'm a fan of Future. Yeah, I fuck with Future. I play Future at least. I'm playing a Future song at least once or twice a day. Probably if I'm in the car, it could be like a older song by Future or anything. I'm playing Future or Drake. I've bought anything from Future. I haven't bought anything from Drake, but I don't think that takes away from me being a fan. Yeah. I mean, there's some people too that aren't fan of artists, but they're fan of just music.
Yeah, I get you.
You know what I'm saying? Like they'll just follow music. Yeah. Like they may not be I don't fuck with Drake that heavy, but I'm a fan of music. I fuck with that song. This song slaps.
I feel like you're a fan if you're excited to hop on the aux and pump that song. Like
you think that makes you a fan? Because I can say for me, like I'll listen to Migos when I'm like turning up or whatever. So in that case, like I'll put it on the aux when I'm trying to turn up and go to the turn up. You get me? But I wouldn't consider myself necessarily a fan of Migos.
I would say you're not a fan of Migos. I would say you're a fan of that song, but that song is owned by Migos.
That doesn't necessarily correlate the two though, because I can be a fan of. As everybody who has watched the last couple episodes knows, that I want to have Chance the Rapper's children. But there are certain like he can do all that. But that doesn't mean that every single song I like really like heavily like care for. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I can love the person and everything that they do for music and everything they do outside of music, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to feel every single one of their songs.
That's very true.
So in that respect, I don't know if those necessarily like equate each other.
No, I see what you're saying, because for instance, Chance the Rapper, I am a fan of Chance the Rapper. I like the way he goes about his shit. Yeah. And I'm just like, and it's not even just a music, and I think that's what it is too. Being a fan of somebody is not just really just the music, but what that person does away from the music. You feel me? Like Chance the Rapper. Just by seeing videos and like interviews with him and the way he talks and stuff, he just seems like a dope person.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? A real cool person. So that's what makes me a fan of him. Drake, away from the music, I mean, only so much that I've seen, it's like, oh, he seems like he'd be a cool person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that's what makes you a fan as well, is how do you fuck with them outside of the music?
Yeah.
It's Malik Classics.
Your face
It's
is
my
not even
crib.
in it.
Oh, you gotta go down to the camera, bro.
Hey, ATB.
Look into the mic.
This Malik Classics and this my crib. Come on, I want to show you. Why are you not coming?
I heard somebody say that the reason why, I think it was Kendrick, or I don't remember if it was Kendrick or J. Cole. They said that the reason why they don't like him so much is because, not because of the music, because music is undeniably dope, but because outside of music and in interviews and stuff, he doesn't seem like a likable person. I think it was Kendrick. I think it was Kendrick. He doesn't seem like a likable person. Like, he doesn't talk about himself. He doesn't, you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to relate to somebody like that. And so in that sense, like, somebody else, my friend, said that he thinks that YG has listeners and somebody like Childish Gambino has fans. And the difference is the substance, I guess. And the difference also is transmedia. Like, Childish Gambino does stand-up. He writes for, you know, 30 Rock. He writes for a lot of people. So outside of music, he has like a lot of presence. So you can be a fan, or you're most likely going to be a fan if somebody has something outside of music that you can relate to, and something outside of music that you have seen and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I honestly feel that most definitely, because a lot of artists, some artists are starting, not a lot, some are actually starting to do that. I mean, whether it be with like clothing line, I mean, like, people could be like, oh yeah, Drake, you know, he's cool and all, but they're a fan of his clothes. You know what I'm saying? Drake had Jordan, the OVO special. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Drake's cool, but people would be like, oh, his shoes is dope. It kind of makes you a fan. You know, you're a fan of his clothes. You're a fan of something with OVO at the end of the day.
Me and my friend were kind of having the same discussion, and we were talking about the reasons why people are having so many jobs outside of music is because people aren't buying music. People aren't buying their albums, so they have to do stuff like start a clothing line, like start a business, and do other things, because if music was, I guess, lucrative enough, they wouldn't have to do all these things. Do you think that's true?
I think. Go ahead.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I think that is true, and I think too. They just said something about on SoundCloud, how they're gonna start cracking down on SoundCloud, so where it's not just free, or not anyone could just post stuff on it. Yeah, like you have to like
subscribe to it, or like coast to coast kind of thing.
Start like probably like subscribing to it and stuff like that to make these things cost more money. And now too, I just saw on SoundCloud, some dude, I was looking through music, and some dude, it had on a link where it said you could buy his EP through SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So I think they're kind of starting to switch
What
up.
do
So
you
these
think is
artists
going to happen when they start like charging for these free sites? What do you think is going to happen to the number of artists that we have?
I think honestly, it's gonna do two things. It's gonna make it hard for artists who don't really have money to get their stuff out there.
Yeah.
Two, it's gonna weed out the artists that aren't as serious about it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you able to get that money and spend that money on your music, then they're gonna know that he's serious. And then if it's, you know, they're gonna probably, obviously people are gonna want to click it because that's such thing. If they see that people are actually downloading it, then you must have good music.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
and
true.
and it might be easier to gain fans once people are actually purchasing it.
That's true. Just based on like what this show is correlating to, like, you can imagine how many trash ass artist SoundClouds that get sent my way, right? So I think that what you said is valid, because I feel like the people who, I'm not gonna say that not all talented people like don't have money, but you'll see a lot of like trash ass artists, but they have money, so their shit is getting pushed further.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying? So that's not gonna really change for those kind of artists, but for the trash people that are like, well, it's free, let me just throw my shit up on there, like.
And even the good artists that say don't have a lot of money or something, they'll find a way.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that are artists that didn't have it. I mean, not even like me. I don't have a lot of money.
Exactly.
There's people that don't have no money. If they're dope, they'll find a way.
Exactly.
If this is something that you're like passionate about, like this is what my life is supposed to be about, I'm gonna find a way to do it.
You'll find a way to do it. I mean, yeah.
Why do you think it is that people are more willing to support people that they don't know, like YG, Childish Gambino, even Chance the Rapper, but won't support people that are local in their same city, or people that they know and fuck with heavy, supposedly?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I figured, like, Man, that's crazy because me and the homies were just talking about that. I had just tweeted the other day that some people don't, I was like, I feel like I'm getting more fans, like more people who mess with my music or people who don't even like live in Long Beach. Like I had people really like people from Inglewood or something. Like, I swear I have homies from Inglewood that go to Cal State Northridge. When I hang with them, they was bumping my music faithfully. Like, they pulled up, like, bumping like jealousy. Like, they was really on that type of stuff. They're tough. And I noticed that, I mean, I feel like my people locally they know who I am probably. They just not gonna, they'll press play, but I don't think they're really like fans. I don't think I'm gaining fans from outside my city.
Yeah.
You know?
So why do you think that is though? If people know you and if people have seen you around and know that you do music, why do you think they're not like as willing to support you and your music and your pursuit of this career? But they'll spend the same, like, okay, for instance, people have performances, like local artists that are trying to come up, they have performances that are like $5, $10, $15, $20, pretty much is the max for performances on the local level. And people will spend the same amount of money, $20. A shot in a regular club is about $10 for a shot. One shot that's not gonna do shit for you. But people will spend that $10 at the club to look cool, whatever, but they won't spend the same amount of money to support something that they say is their friend.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think, like, what is the reason?
I feel like it can either, it's like two reasons. It's either, they can either be in competition with you. You know, there's a lot of people, there's artists everywhere that want that. So they're like, man, I'm not gonna do that because I should be where he's at. Or it can be too that I feel like it's just not that important. So they're just probably just not, you know, they probably like the music. Oh, I like to hear it, but it's not that important.
That's the difference.
Like,
see, that's the difference between a listener and a fan.
Exactly. The listeners.
Yeah, and like, to go into that, because I was just talking about that with some other people, and it's just like you really have to find that group of people that fuck with you.
Yeah.
Whether it be like 2 to 10 people that really like
Push
you
it
drop
heavy.
something and they'll push it. I mean, I have a lot of friends in college. People are coming from everywhere to go to college.
Yeah.
They're gonna take that music and then they're gonna take it back home.
Yeah.
So like I have a lot of friends that go to the University of Arizona. So I have like a good 7 friends that when I drop something, they push it through the University of Arizona. Those people hear it, they go back to Atlanta, New York, Chicago, wherever they're from, and they might play it. You know what I'm saying? Now it's more how it spreads. So you just need to really start off with those people that really fuck with you, because at the end of the day, it is hard. And what a lot of artists should do is don't look at that nigga that's local as your competition. Look at Drake, Childish Gambino, Chance the Rapper, J. Cole, Kendrick, because you want to be able to be in somebody's phone to where Drake's song comes up next, and then right after that, it's your song.
Exactly.
And then if it's not your song, you're not doing shit.
Why do you think it is that people don't buy music anymore?
Because how easy it is to get it through like SoundCloud or social media and like shit getting leaked.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
On websites.
People like taking it. I mean, like technology is just so like advanced that you can get a song from iTunes or whatever, transform it a little bit, and then now you have it free on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
The mastermind, that's whoever behind that, is making it possible for people to. That's why too. Kanye dropped his shit. He didn't drop it on iTunes or whatever.
Dropped it on Tidal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're trying to come up with new ways, so it forces people to buy music or listen it through a different.
And I think that's part of like the reason we were earlier before the show started. We were talking about the difference of like time periods before digital media and social media and how easy and accessible it is to everybody. I think that there's a difference of quality in music before social media, and I feel like part of the reasons that artists are having to, even Beyonce, she's putting herself on Tidal now, and Kendrick, even though it's being leaked on YouTube and stuff, his Untitled Unmastered, it was buyable. Like, you know what I'm saying? He didn't do it so that it's just out into the world. And I think some of that has to do with the fact that people are not buying music. They're not buying it on iTunes. They're not even like, and that's one of the reasons why people are having so many tours back to back now too, is because people are not buying their music, so they have to make money another way. So on the low, that's how people do it on like the higher level, people who have already hit the radio and stuff like that. But what's the answer for local artists then? If their stuff is free, what's the answer?
I think for local artists too, it just goes into like, you gotta spend money to make money. And so you might not get that 2 G's that you want off of selling CDs out of the back of your car. It's not gonna happen right away, because I mean, you could be walking down the street and it's typical for you to walk down the street and somebody says, hey man, listen to this. It's typical for you to go, who is this nigga? Because you never heard of him. He could be dope as fuck. He could be the next Drake. He could be the
Yeah.
next J.
Never
Cole.
heard of him.
But you're just gonna be like, oh, $5, like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I think it's really hard for the people that are trying to come up. So really, like, what I do myself is just, hey, I have a job. Take that money from my job instead of buying, you know what I'm saying, all
Yeah.
other shit. Instead of going out to eat, I'm gonna put it right back in the music and make that song the best song. So when I do put it out for free, that person listens to it, then all of a sudden it's at Capitol Records through 8 different connections because they heard it off of SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Just like how you say you found artists just by looking through SoundCloud. There's people that really sit there and
Yeah.
look through SoundCloud.
Exactly.
So
And that's the thing, like, I think that goes back to the part that you said they're going to start charging for SoundCloud. And I think that's the good part, but then, like you said, it's the bad part. My father told me something. He said, and this is basketball related, but it is still, like, applicable, that the people in the NBA that you see, some of those people are not even the best ball players out there. The best ball players out there are at Venice. The best ball players out there are at your local park.
Yeah.
And the comparison here is that the people that you hear on the radio, they are not the best artists.
Yeah.
They just have more money, more opportunities
Yeah,
than the
exactly.
people who at the local levels have.
You
And
gotta
it's sad
invest in
because,
yourself.
and that's one of the reasons why I started the show is because I have heard so much talent from people that I know, from people on SoundCloud, from people on Instagram, and I'm like, why are we not hearing this? Why am I hearing, I'm sorry, I do not like The Weeknd, so why am I hearing The Weeknd on 4 or 5 fucking channels? Why am I hearing The Weeknd on every station? Why?
She hurt my soul.
I mean, shit, sorry about it. He sounds like nails on a chalkboard to me. So, why every single station that I change to, I hear him, but I know somebody that lives around the street from me, around the corner from me, who will buy this nigga? Why is that? Like, that makes me sad. And me and my friend were talking about something, and we said that basically the arts and anybody who is an artist, this is the only profession that they know doesn't make money, but people will still do it anyway. This is the only profession that people will really say, oh, it's okay, bro, he's gonna give me it for free. Oh, he's gonna give me his music for free. Would you ask a doctor to put your face together for free? No, you wouldn't. Would you ask a dentist to do some shit for your teeth for free? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't even trust some shit if it was for free.
Exactly.
If somebody was like, bro, I got you. Plastic surgery, bro, it's on me. I wouldn't trust anybody like that. So why are people so willing to think that artists will do their shit for free?
that is true. That is true. And a lot of artists, it's just it's hard because people are trying to get their stuff out.
Yeah.
They're trying, like, I want to get my stuff out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like, fuck, like, you know, I'm gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna have to throw this music out there. I'm gonna get it as best as I can. Put niggas, I mean, I've put $200, $300, $400, $100 in one song.
Yeah.
Just to get it fully mixed and mastered, just to get it sounding pure in the hours in the studio for 8 to 10 hours,
Yeah.
putting $400 into my music just so one person can listen to it for free. Or 3 or 4, however many people are gonna listen to it for free, just so they can be like, oh shit, you know what, that's dope. Because at the end of the day,
They
once
gonna
you
keep listening to it.
and
then the fan.
and you're not gonna get that paycheck at the end of the day until you gained your fans.
It comes down to the belief in yourself enough to push your own music, the belief in yourself to know that even however you're starting, it might not be the best quality studio, it might not be, you know, the best quality performance. Some people start off with like 10 people in the same room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it comes down to you believing in yourself enough to be like, this is not where I'm about to end up. I'm about to be right next to Drake, at least open enough for him. And then that nigga gonna be open enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to at the end of the day.